keeping the barbarians from the gate.
I got into the labor movement not because I wanted to negotiate wages. I got into the labor movement because I saw it as a vehicle to do massive social change to improve the lots of people.
Let's take these son of a out and give America back to America where we belong. Thank you very much. Thank you.
As far as I'm concerned, the Tea Party can go straight to hell. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life.
So glad to have you back on this hour number 2 on Friday morning. I'm Brian Sommerfield. He's Trucker Randy. We are your defending fathers, and so glad to have one of shows we run on the weekend, the Sons of Liberty, on Saturday from 3 to 5 right here on 106.3. Co-host of the show, Bradlee Dean.
Actually, I'm the show host.
You are the show host. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was co-hosted.
No, we only got the head dude, Brian. We don't talk to no co-host.
We don't mess around here.
Brother? Hey, Bradlee, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, guys.
You're welcome.
What's your show all about?
Well, basically what we want to do is talk about what George Washington talked about. He said religion and morality are the essential pillars of civil society. And what John Adams said, the second president of the United States, is basically that our Constitution is made for a moral and a religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. What we want to do is just go back into history. What did our forefathers establish, and we want to grow thereby. And basically, if, as Woodrow Wilson rightly said, if you don't know where you came from, how do you know where you're going? So we just want to show the people and share with the people what not only the problems are, but bring about the resolve as well.
Woodrow Wilson is not one of my favorite presidents.
Well, love him or hate him, he was right in what he said, and there's righteousness in everybody, I guess, if you take a look at it, because there's a lot of people I don't like, but they say some pretty cool things.
Yeah, those were cool statements, but, man, that 16th and 17th Amendment just really ticked me off. But anyway, let's get into the show itself. How long have you guys been on the air? How long have you been doing this?
Well, we've been on Salem Communications for about 10 years. We cut off of that probably about 2 years ago, and we were picked up by GCN, Ted Anderson in Minneapolis here, and we've been basically projected into 53 countries now, and we're on 10 radio stations nationwide, and we've been on his network for about a year, so we're doing pretty good with it. And saying all that to say this, we also do high school assemblies across the country. I've done 338 high schools in 22 different states. As am I a drummer for a band called Junkyard Prophet, which is an international band, and we've got 4 videos out there with a potential of 444 million households. Only a tool to win the young people, the high schools and the college students. And aside of that, I'm a husband to 1, daddy to 5, and I'm a busy guy, and I'm a preacher at the church here. So we're just all over the country doing what we can do to wake up this nation so we can restore our nation.
Amen to that.
Of course, amen.
Well, your show goes right along with a lot of the shows that we've got on this radio station, because a lot of these shows most people think of as much as a ministry opportunity as anything else, and your show goes right along with that. How long have you been a drummer? Have you been a part of a band most of your life, or is this just something new?
No. I'm totally endorsed. I'm endorsed by Sonar, Soul Tone Cymbals. I got my own signature drumsticks, my own signature drum sets. I'm pretty much endorsed all the way around, and I've been playing pretty much my whole life. And I used to tour all across the country when I was younger, and after I got saved, I just said, Lord, I don't know what you want me to do with this, but if you want me to keep it, then you're going to have to make it work. And the next thing I knew was I was picked up by a band called Rainy Kings, which turned into Junkyard Prophet, and we got second best unsigned to a band called POD, and POD is MTV's darling. And we had about 5 record label offers, and we just said no to the money and yes to the high schools across the country. So it's pretty well established, and I've been playing for a long time. So we don't want to give anything to anybody second rate. We want it top rate, and that's what we strive to do.
Well, one of the things and one of the main reasons we have you on today, again, we're so happy to have you on our station. But your ministry, one of the main things that you really reach out to is the youth in high school assemblies, and that seems to be the one area that was just totally missed by the Romney campaign.
In every sense of the word, guys. I mean, it's not just the Romney campaign. You can go all the way back to, I mean, if you really look back in history, who really reached into the younger people except our forefathers. And if you look back, probably around 1962, that's when things started getting weird. So every president up until that point, or back to that point, has actually dropped the ball on the younger generation by allowing them to be indoctrinated. But there's no question about it when you look at what just took place here. I'm also a commentary for WorldNet Daily, and I just wrote an article yesterday talking about, I didn't try to say it this way, guys, but I had to say it. I told you so. I told you that you have to look back in history, because if you don't look at history, it's going to repeat itself. And what's happening now is everybody's complaining about what I tried to warn them about. About 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I wrote an article, Can the Conservatives Win Without the Youth Vote? And what I did is I basically shared with my readers that, listen, if you look at history and go back to Mao Zedong, what did he do? He uprooted the capitalists by using socialism to implement communism. And who did he use? The younger generation to throw off the older generation. It's the same thing Hitler did. Back in the 30s, Hitler had something called Hitler's Youth. They were the church youth groups. He went for the kids because he knew that if he wanted to establish his Third Reich, what he had to do is get rid of the older generation who knew better. And it's the same thing with any dictator. We're seeing this with Obama. Back in 2008, Obama captured the demographic of 18 to 31, 68% of that vote. So all this stuff, I'm telling the people, listen, this is what's coming up down the line. We went to the Republican National Convention in Tampa just this last year. I'm on Radio Row, going up and down, doing radio interviews the whole time I was there, and they were all looking at me like a cow looking at a new gate, like, what are you talking about, dude? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, where are the young people? Why are they not here? And without disrespecting or condescending anyone, when I went to the RNC, I was totally blown away because I seen people 50, 60, 70 years old that didn't have a clue. They were all dressed up like they were still going to an Elvis concert. It's like, guys, the 70s want their glasses and their clothes back. This is over. The party's over. And so what we just found out now is Romney lost, supposedly, because of the vote. And it was 18 to 29. The demographic, again, same demographic, guys, same exact demographic. And the numbers were 60% to 36%. So Obama was in the colleges where he should have been, and Romney was out there trying to appeal to the older crowd. So here we are, and now what do? Well, what we have to do is we have to gird our loins up and get back to work, because now it's time to prove who we are to the American people by leading the way.
And one of the other factors that plays into this, too, was Ron Paul had huge crowds at every single university event that he attended. We went to Mount Pleasant. We had a Tea Party convention where we tried to unify behind one conservative candidate for U.S. Senate, and tried to take on the establishment's 18-year term Congressman Pete Hoekstra. We had an alternative candidate we were promoting. Well, right after that convention, we went to the Central Michigan University's auditorium. They had 4,000 kids in there, packed in, standing room only. They turned away 2,000 that were standing outside in line that couldn't even get into the building.
That's right.
And the thing of it is bottom line is, look at how badly treated Congressman Paul was there in Tampa.
Yes, he was.
They had people that got up from these different state delegations, announced clearly their vote for Ron Paul. Specifically, the one I remember most was Minnesota, where Paul got like 30 or 33 votes. And the blonde stick woman girl that did the verbal acknowledgments on the microphone never even announced Ron Paul's vote totals. They only announced the Romney ones.
So what did you see in that? So you just taught a younger generation that you don't play by the rules. You just taught the younger generation, you just gave them a backhand. You just ignored what they said. And Martin Luther King was right when he said, riot is the voice of the unheard. And sooner or later, that's what's going to incite is a riot, because the younger generation are sick and tired of being dumped on, and they're being dumped on. Guys, I've been doing this for 12 years in high schools to the younger people in the colleges. They are tired of being ignored. And what's happening right now is they're seeing the man, as stupid as everybody can call him, as corrupt as everybody says he is, and he is. Obama has enough common sense to go to the right people. And you know what's interesting, too, guys, is I do radio all over the country. We'll do sit-ins all over the country. We were in Washington, D.C., and I was sitting there, and all the conservatives were talking about getting their rock star. They wanted to get their rock star to appeal to the younger generation. Well, I'm not trying to step into that position, but this is what I've been doing for a long time. And because you don't look like them, because you don't act like them, they don't want anything to do with you. And there's a huge breach between the younger generation and the older generation. And the only one, you're exactly right, my friend, the only one that captured that vote all the way around was pretty much Ron Paul, in every sense of the word, except Obama. And they didn't want Ron Paul in the mix anyways. And you even seen that through Fox. They kept ignoring Ron Paul and putting a blackout on Ron Paul. Everybody's seen this, but I think what that does is it only encourages another generation to wake up and say, hey, we got to fight now because we see how corrupt the system really is.
It is corrupt. They changed rules. They had people, Morton Blackwell's bus was driven around the convention center for an hour so he couldn't make a rules meeting. I mean, there's so much crap that the Republican RNC pulled down there in Tampa that I think you're right. And the young people weren't motivated to get out and vote for this guy. And another mushy moderate lost, just like Bob Dole in 96, just like John McLean in 2008. Romney was a mushy moderate. They tried to ram down our throats, and the people weren't buying it, brother.
That's right. And you're starting to see a backlash right now, which is, I'm sorry to say people figured it out after the fact. That's another point that we hit, guys, on the Sons of Liberty was, listen, guys, I know everybody's looking for hope, and I know everybody's looking for real change, but if you look at the difference between Obama and Romney, there isn't any, because if you look at what happened in Massachusetts, he was doing what Obama was doing on a national scale, 5 years previous to what Obama did. And everything, the morals, the guns, the abortion, the homosexuality, everything. He was there already.
He copied Romney's game plan from Massachusetts.
That's right.
Well, you know what? We've been arguing. I was attending a meeting down in Lansing yesterday with some state legislators, a Michigan GOP representative, and a few other folks. We're arguing now about what the direction of the GOP should go. We got these idiots like Sean Hannity and these other yahoos talking about us not talking about social issues and steering the party more to the left to try to win over that vote. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you're exactly right, and I'm really happy that you were bold enough to speak forth the truth, because this is what needs to happen on radio right now, our conversation, because this is the voice of the people. People are sick and tired of it. You said Sean Hannity and what he's not saying. I've said that 1,000 times. It's not that Fox is so bad. It's not what they talk about that bothers me. It's what they do through omission that really bothers me. And they're going hook, line, and sinker along with the establishment. Instead of standing against it, they're going with the flow. And that's exactly right. There needs to be a new breed of people to stand up, and I'm hearing this from these guys in Michigan that I'm talking to right now, and this is what needs to happen across the country. And once this begins to happen across the country, that we have the real stuff, that we're ordained, we're appointed of God to get the job done, I believe we're going to win our country back. So in saying all that to say this, I want to bring about the resolve, and I think these kind of conversations are doing just that, because people are sick and tired of the compromise. They're sick and tired of being lied to. And I think what's happening again, sorry to say, they figured this out after the fact.
Yep, after the fact, 2 days, 3 days now after the election, we're having this conversation now.
Yep.
And you know what? It's our fault, too. I mean, the bottom line is what you've been doing, God bless you, going to the high schools and trying to get these young people undoctrinated. You got a huge task, brother. I mean, these professors, once they get a hold, my son, I paid for his college at Western Michigan University. Dude, you should have heard some of the vile crap that was coming out of the professors' mouths trying to indoctrinate my son.
Oh, yeah. You know what's interesting is philosophy, as James Madison, the father of our Constitution, rightly said, philosophy is big words with common sense meaning. They can be as intellectual as they want to be, but friends, they're morally corrupt. And that's exactly where we're at in the colleges. When we go to colleges, by the way, the professors actually tell the students that if you go protest Bradlee Dean when he comes to our college, you'll get extra credit. So we see who we're dealing with. And really, friends, what it comes down to is we're dealing with a bunch of burnt hippies from the 60s and 70s that are now professors, that are now in government. And what we need to do is we need to stand up and remind them that they derive their powers from the consent of the governed. It is we the people. This is our country, and it's not theirs. And the bottom line is they work for us, we don't work for them. And government is an extension of we the people. And the problem is everybody's complaining about the government that they tolerate. And so when you had originally said, it's our fault, it is the American people's fault. But once we take responsibility, then and only then can we begin to change the course of our nation. And that's what I decided to do 17 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since.
We need to take a break. Can you stay through the break?
I can.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Go for it, Brian.
You're listening to Your Defending Fathers. Back with more of Bradlee Dean after this.
Have you been injured in an accident and hired an attorney to fight for the money you deserve? Do you need cash while waiting for your settlement? Call Oasis Legal Finance. The application is free, and if approved, you can get cash in as little as 24 hours. If you lose your case, you don't have to repay. Have your attorney's information and call Oasis at 1-800-305-7966. That's 1-800-305-7966. 1-800-305-7966. Not available in Arkansas, Colorado, Kansas, Maryland, or North Carolina. In Missouri and Illinois, legal fundings are processed as loans.
My name is Jennifer. I'm 44, and I lost weight with the Amberin program.
My name is Kim. I'm 47, and I lost weight with the Amberin program.
I'm Jane. I'm 52, and I lost a ton of weight with the Amberin program. Even my belly fat is gone, and it was so easy.
Thousands of women over 40 who used to struggle with weight gain are having incredible success with the Amberin program. That's because Amberin focuses on hormonal balance. The leading cause of weight gain in women over 40, especially during menopause, is hormonal imbalance. Until you balance your hormones, losing weight can be practically impossible. But the Amberin program balances your hormones naturally, making losing weight surprisingly easy. Plus, Amberin eliminates other symptoms of unbalanced hormones, like hot flashes, irritability, and sleeplessness. Call in the next 15 minutes to receive a complimentary risk-free trial with a 30-day supply free. Call 1-800-921-9030. That's 1-800-921-9030. Call 1-800-921-9030.
Staples Copy and Print knows you need to promote your business.
Trifold, full-color, double-sided brochures.
As you expand to a new area.
Business cards, postcards, car magnets.
So your business can thrive.
Business forms for invoices.
Because at the end of the day, only one thing is really important.
More invoices.
So you go to the one place that has it all.
Staples.
And prints it right.
Staples.
Staples. Right now, buy 250 business cards, postcards, flyers, or brochures and get 250 free. Details in-store or at staples.com/color. Ends 11/10/12. Staples. That was easy.
Wearing glasses with Crizal lenses can make a big difference in your vision. Neither the teeming rains of India, nor the snows of Kilimanjaro, nor the glare of the paparazzi at a Hollywood opening can keep your lenses from giving you the clearest vision possible. For no glare lenses with great water, dirt, dust, scratch, and smudge resistance, choose Crizal. Live life in the clear. That's Crizal. Crizal. Ask for them at your eye care professional.
Welcome back. It's 24 minutes after the hour on this Friday morning. We're your defending fathers, joined by a defending father as well, host of the Sons of Liberty, Bradlee Dean. He's on from 3 to 5 every Saturday right here on this radio station. And you have got our message boards lighting up right now.
Bradlee, I got a quick question.
Yes.
Before we go to the bottom of the hour. So, what direction does the GOP have to go in order to take back this country?
Well, what you're seeing across the boards now nationwide is the GOP's finished. People are asking for resignations. People are talking about standing up and getting rid of them. And if you really look at it, they're blaming the GOP for not being their voice. I think really what happens is we're just going to have to see what happens. If there's going to be a fallout, there's no question about it. People are sick and tired of where we're at, guys. And we need to stand up and take our country back. And people are beginning to, you know what, if we didn't go through what we're going through right now, people would have fell back to sleep with Romney. People are standing up and saying, okay, we got 4 more years of this guy. Either they're going to capitulate or they're going to stand up and fight. And what I'm seeing is I'm seeing people all across the board saying, enough is enough. I got to stand up and fight now, and that's where we're at.
Are we going to take over the GOP, or are we going to start our third party?
I'm a preacher. I plead the fifth right now. I do want to say this. Honest to God, I really don't know what's going on right now. I just know everything's being shaken up, and it's a good place to be. It really is.
I want to go in a separate direction. We've got about 3 minutes before we go to the bottom of the hour break. How do we get you involved in high schools? I know we've got teachers out there listening, administrators, school board members. How do we get you in school districts around northern Michigan?
If you could get a pen, please. Go to youcanruninternational.com, spell it out, YOUCANRUN, international.com, and give us a call. Youcanruninternational.com. Go on there and click on and give us a call at 320-274-8400, 320-274-8400. I know that we're coming back out to Michigan in December. We've been back to Michigan 2 different times, and I think we've done like 8 or 9 different tea parties as well as churches.
Well, we definitely need to get you in northern Michigan and definitely in Wayne County. Wayne County is down where Detroit is, and that is an area that is heavy union, heavy inner city, and they are just in needing of hope and needing of your message, because if we're going to turn that city around, it's going to have to come from within.
Well, just remember, guys, those kids do not belong to the state. Read Article 10. What they're doing is illegal. They are your kids, and forget it not. So let's set it up, and we will be there to do them.
I will make that a point. I've got contacts in Detroit, in the churches. We will set that up, and we will definitely coordinate to have you down there.
Amen.
Hopefully this is the first of many interviews we have with you over time, because, you know, we all have to be working together, and our message is right on track with what you're talking about. So we're just totally pleased to have you on today. And again, hopefully we whetted the appetite just enough to have you listen in on Saturdays from 3 to 5, and you're going to get the full-blown message. He will have control of the board, so you always like that when that happens.
Yep.
Bradlee Dean, thanks for joining us today. Good luck to you, and we'll be talking to you in the future.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Thanks very much.
Good interview. Like his message. People need to hear it Saturdays 3 to 5. They need to listen to this guy, tell their friends, because one of the things that I've already heard, our friend Jim Chioda is a leader for the Ottawa County Tea Party Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a radio station over there on that side of the state near Holland, and they carry Bradlee Dean's show on the weekends too, and he said it's one of their most popular shows out of the whole weekend lineup. So people definitely need to hear him. Tell your friends, tell your church members to listen to this guy. He tells it straight. He's got absolutely constitutional grounding. He knows what our founding fathers did, Brian, and that's what we got to do.
His bio, it says, Dean, a 6'5", long-haired, tattooed figure and drummer whose very presence helps him identify with today's young people.
Amen to that, brother.
So, you know, you talk about somebody who said, you know what, I've lived a life, I've been around, but here's what I'm doing now. And the fact that he's a minister as well, he's got to be busy.
Yeah, and very busy, born-again Christian now, leading a completely different life than when he got those tats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could definitely tell that just by talking to him for a few minutes on the air like that. And again, Saturdays 3 to 5 right here on 106.3. We are your Patriot Voice. We are your Defending Fathers.